Wishing Death here. I'm gonna do another dream podcast. So today I figure I will talk about the time I met the Tooth Fairy. Quote unquote, obviously. Yes. So, the reason why for so long when I was a kid I was convinced that the Tooth Fairy was real for sure, like beyond any of the others, was because I was so certain I had actually seen the Tooth Fairy at one point. And how this happened was one night, or during the day probably, I don't really remember when exactly it happened, I lost a tooth. So, as per usual, I took my tooth and I put it under my pillow when I went to bed. I was asleep and I woke up in the morning and so I was checking for my tooth and the tuning that I would get, and neither was there, and I was confused. It's like, I'm supposed to, if the tooth's not there, there's supposed to be a tuning, and if there's not a tuning there, then my tooth should be there, right? But it wasn't. And I woke up, and in my doorway, I see my shadow standing up, just standing in the doorway. And past my shadow, I could see my mom at the end of the hall going in about, it looked like she was about to go wake up one of my sisters in their room. And so I looked at the shadow for a moment, and then I looked back to check again. I think my shadow nodded or something, but I went and checked under my pillow again, and there was the toonie. I was so shocked. I was like, that must have been the Tooth Fairy. And I look up and they were gone. Excuse me. Yeah, so, my shadow was just gone. It wasn't in the doorway. It wasn't anywhere to be seen. I still see my mom at the end of the hall. So I was convinced that the Tooth Fairy was literally my own shadow. Like, my disembodied shadow. And I've been told a few theories when I've told this story to others of what I may have seen. Some people, I've heard that it could have been a demon. I heard that it could have been a member of the Fae. And I heard it could have been like a ghost or like a spiritual presence. But anyways, I remember this happening vividly. I mean, it could have been a dream, but I am so certain that it's not, that it wasn't, because, to this day, I remember it, more vividly than, any dream I've ever had. And, it's even more vivid than even some of my memories from around that time, too, so I don't know, just so vivid. And I was so convinced for such a long time after that the Tooth Fairy has to be real, and that was the Tooth Fairy. So, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it, and you enjoyed this video or podcast, whatever you want to call it. It's not really much of a video, but yeah, have a nice day. Make sure you drink lots of water. Don't get dehydrated out there. And I'll see you in the next video or podcast or whatever I upload. If you enjoy and decide to stick around to see more content.